Hello, everybody. Anthony Aniano here from RotoBaller Radio and RotoBaller.com as we continue our Fantasy Football 2023 preview series. Today, with mid-round sleeper running backs to be mindful of come your Fantasy Football draft. And folks, don't forget, head over to RotoBaller.com right now. Check out everything there. The main page, premium package. And sign up for that premium package. Use that promo code ACES. Save at checkout and get all the great premium content, including draft rankings, the draft kit, team sync tools, lineup optimizers, and more, courtesy of RotoBaller.com. Don't forget, like and subscribe right here to the RotoBaller YouTube channel and download the app. It's free. All the RotoBaller sports in one spot. All the premium and free content available right there at your fingertips. So please take advantage of that. And as we approach fantasy football draft season and as we approach the start of the NFL season, I want to take a second to tell you all about our good friends at the FFPC, the home of season-long fantasy football. It's been 14 years since the FFPC filled their first league, and they've grown to be one of the world's largest league commissioners. Not a single FFPC league has ever folded, and leagues are forming right now. The FFPC has plenty of great slow draft and live draft formats, including best ball drafts as low as $35. Best of all, every RotoBaller listener and viewer will get $25 off their first FFPC contest. Go to rotoballer.com/FFPC to take advantage of this offer. Don't miss out on the FFPC experience, the home of season-long fantasy football. All right, folks, hopefully you've already checked out the quarterback videos I've created, the mid-round sleeper quarterbacks, the late-round sleeper quarterbacks. Today, we're going to talk about the same thing. Some running backs available in the middle rounds. Maybe not running back ones, definitely not running back ones, probably not running back twos, but running backs who, if you decide in your draft strategy to Travis Kelce in round one, stack some wide receivers, get a top echelon quarterback, and say, I'm going to hold off because I think there's running back value to be had late. And I do agree with that statement. These running backs can be your plays. Maybe you draft one very early and hold off and take your second running back not until the middle rounds. Those are the type of players we're looking at, the sleeper running backs available for you. As always with these football preview videos, we use the National Fantasy Football Championship and FFC ADPs as our reference points for 12-team formats. That ADP starting July 1st up until the current day. And the first running back I wanted to mention in that mid-round sleeper bracket, James Cook of the Buffalo Bills. Current ADP on that NFFC is 83.98. The 11th pick of the 7th round, currently going as running back 30. So there you have it. He's going as a third running back, maybe a flex option. All reports out of the Buffalo Bills camp is that James Cook is going to be the workhorse, going to be the primary back. He's looked terrific in camp. And let's acknowledge the fact that the Buffalo Bills, with Josh Allen, with Stephon Diggs, need somebody else offensively to potentially step up. But we thought it was going to be Gabe Davis last year. It wasn't. It wasn't Devin Singletary. He's now out of town. They've brought in Damian Harris. Okay, but James Cook, second-round pick last year. Okay, a second-round pick is expected to contribute in a major way. And this year, that is the time for James Cook to begin contributing to this Buffalo Bills offense. Last season, only 89 carries, but for 507 yards. Folks, 5.7 yards per carry, sign me up. That is a monster number. Also, 32 targets, 21 receptions in the passing game for 180 yards. 3 total touchdowns. Okay, finished last season as running back 44 with 86.5 fantasy points. About a little over 5 fantasy points per game. But remember, playing behind Devin Singletary and others. Zach Moss was there at the beginning of the year. Now, Damian Harris is there, and Damian Harris, no doubt in my mind, will steal goal line work from James Cook. It will be difficult for James Cook to score within the 5-yard line. Between Damian Harris and Josh Allen, those touchdowns may not be there for James Cook. That's part of the reason why he's not going higher than running back 30. It's part of the reason why people are not trusting him as a RB2. But as an RB3, as a flex option, in round 7, right on the fringe of round 7, round 8 in a 12-team league. You're getting a guy who averaged over 5.5 yards per carry last season, where there's a role clearly defined for him. Okay, even if he doesn't make out on those goal line carries, you're going to see close to 200 carries compared to the 89 carries last season. You're looking at a runner, if he maintains that 5-yard per carry average, you're looking at a 1,000-yard season, plus the ability to catch the ball out of the backfield. You can expect at least 50 receptions this year out of James Cook. Getting him as running back 30, terrific value going into this season. Second sleeper running back I like for this season, Brian Robinson Jr. of the Washington Commanders. Now remember, Brian Robinson Jr. missed the first 4 games of the year last year after that shooting accident, which he had nothing to do with. He was just a victim, okay? And then comes in, starts 9 games for the Washington Commanders. 3rd-round pick out of Alabama. Sign me up any player who comes out of Alabama. Let's just acknowledge that, okay? Year 2 in the league, and he was all set to be the primary running back from day 1, from opening day last year until that accident. Now, it's a run-heavy offense in Washington. Sam Howell, Jacoby Brissett at quarterback doesn't give you confidence for a pass-heavy offense. Run-heavy. Okay, Brian Robinson on the field 1st and 2nd downs. Antonio Gibson with the ability to make plays, catching the ball out of the backfield. Even with that, even with Brian Robinson last season missing the first 4 games, even with Brian Robinson only starting 9 games, he still finished as running back 39 last year with 103.7 fantasy points, averaging 8.6 points per game in the games he played, just under 10 fantasy points per game. He's currently going as running back 34 in the early 9th round of drafts, as picked about 103.5. Okay, 9th round RB34, again, a 3rd running back who will be getting goal line work for the Washington Commanders. Last season, 205 carries and 797 yards, just under 4 yards per carry. Finished with 3 total touchdowns. Not a factor in the passing game, I acknowledge that. Only 9 receptions. But the primary workhorse of running the ball in a run-first offense, you're going to see the potential for about 80 yards a game out of Brian Robinson. I would expect him to push close to 8 rushing touchdowns this upcoming year. The only reason he's not higher than an RB34 currently is the lack of targets he'll see in the passing game with Antonio Gibson there. Number 3, my final mid-round sleeper running back for the 2023 fantasy football season, and this one surprises me where his ADP is, and that's Jamal Williams of the New Orleans Saints. Now, granted, he's 27 years old, but not a lot of wear and tear on him, as he was always a backup with the Green Bay Packers, never actually having the amount of carries he had. In fact, last season was the first time in his career he had over 200 carries. His current ADP has him going as player 106.6. That's 9th pick of the 9th round, running back 36. So right there at the end of the 3rd tier running back, the 3rd running backs, I shouldn't say tier, the RB3s on a roster. Now, last season was his best year. 262 yards for 262 carries, for 1,066 yards. The big number, 17 total touchdowns on this season, 17 rushing touchdowns. Again, like Brian Robinson, not a factor in the passing game, only 12 receptions on 16 targets. He did average, though, 4.1 yards per carry last season for the Detroit Lions. Signs the free agent contract with the Saints. Now, here's the catch. The suspension for Alvin Kamara is coming. Who knows how long that suspension will be? Either way, once that suspension is handed down, Jamal Williams will be the one. Even when Alvin Kamara comes back, Jamal Williams' role is not going anywhere. The Saints brought him in for a reason. He is going to be a 1B at the very least to the Alvin Kamara 1A. Alvin Kamara, with a lot more wear and tear on him compared to Jamal Williams, was starting to see the Alvin Kamara fade happening at that year 27, 28. So Kamara's fading. Jamal Williams there to take care of the heavy work. Jamal Williams with a proven nose for the end zone with 17 touchdowns. All of that leads to a running back last season who finished with 213.9 fantasy points. He finished as running back 7. He averaged 12.6 fantasy points per game in that running back 7 finish, yet he's being drafted as running back 36 even though the player we think is holding him back is going to be starting the season with some type of suspension. So to recap, my 3 mid-round sleeper running backs for the 2023 fantasy football season. First, James Cook of the Buffalo Bills. Second, Brian Robinson Jr. of the Washington Commanders. And third, Jamal Williams of the New Orleans Saints. Folks, don't forget, give me a follow on Twitter at @Aniano Fantasy, and we'll see you next time right here on RotoBaller Radio.